Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Ironwoman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Ironwoman. We only have special guests, and today we go to Miss Camay. She was sent to me by Janet Weiss. Obviously, we know Janet Weiss, a brilliant person. Miss Camay, when you look at her resume, it says Senior Litigation Paralegal. To me, this means business. And then you scroll down a little bit more, and then some more fun facts are coming up. But I don't want to take all the fun fact away. You should tell the audience she has a cool podcast video on YouTube, The Boss Ladies Break Room. Maybe you tell us a little bit about that. Welcome, Ms. Camay.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for that warm welcome. I'm grateful to be here with you today and joining you on your podcast and giving me an opportunity to connect with your audience and your fans and your followers. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. To talk to you about the Boss Ladies Break Room, it's a Boss Ladies Break Room for all boss ladies around the world. The concept for the Boss Ladies Break Room was developed with a friend of mine, and we wanted to create a space where we could educate, inspire, and empower our audience to take action in building generational wealth and protecting those assets with trust documents. As you mentioned, I'm a senior litigation paralegal. I've worked in the legal field for over 20 years, and my formal education and my professional legal experience has built the foundation for my consulting business, Camay International. In the Boss Ladies Break Room, I highlight and feature small business, women-owned entrepreneurs who are business professionals who understand the importance of documents and business documents, having the appropriate business documents in place for your business to protect your intellectual property, protect your brand. And I wanted to be able to share real world testimonies and real world experience from other boss ladies about being a small woman-owned businesses and share their experience and their business documents that they needed or that they had to have prepared in regards to their business structure or their business practice, essentially. I just had Janet Weiss in the break room, and she just had golden gems and nuggets of information to share regarding women's brand and how to show up in the world and how to be bold, how to ask for the ask, right? And how women entrepreneurs can essentially package themselves, present themselves in their business. So it was a phenomenal interview. And I say it about all of my boss ladies. They're all phenomenal because they are all in our own right. Just as you, Suzanne, we are each phenomenal ladies in our own right. I love the platform. The concept was essentially structured in a way that every first Wednesday at 2:00 on YouTube, wherever you are, you can grab your favorite beverage and you can join us in the break room by the water cooler and get the tea for the day, right? Get the tea for the month, essentially. And we try to really keep the break room break essentially to 30, 40 minutes. We don't want people getting in trouble at work taking long breaks. Sometimes we run over, but that's essentially the concept. Come and join us in the break room. Hear from these subject matter experts, from these boss lady women who are sharing valuable tools and resources. We're educating, inspiring, and empowering women around the world.
We need more of you. And I remember when I was watching the words of educating, inspiring, motivating, but phenomenal came up all the time. Phenomenal. So
Yeah.
you're a phenomenal woman boss. And I like when people say you're bossy because that we mean business. That's the same with you. So tell us more about the senior litigation paralegal. If I understand correctly, you came from legal and retail and then you married those two?
Yeah. Great question. Early on in my professional career, I went to beauty school right out of high school and became a licensed cosmetologist. Came out of high school, went into cosmetology school, and then I worked in the industry for about 8 years. I went to beauty school. It was kind of trendy. It was kind of the thing to do. That's what we were doing back in the day. I'm dating myself here. This was back. I graduated cosmetology school in 1991. And so worked in the industry. I essentially wanted to be a business owner. And I wanted to have the licensing and I wanted to have the experience because my goal was to own a salon or own a business, not essentially stand behind the chair. I worked in the industry and then I actually got into the retail side of being a cosmetologist and went to work in a mall, essentially, for a salon. And I was recruited into junior retail clothing and went into management in retail. And from there, I was recruited to be a manager at Victoria's Secret, which was a huge step in my management career. And I worked for that company, transferred down to San Diego, managed a multi-million-dollar inventory down in North County Fair. Loved living in San Diego, loved California, loved the beach. Very, very busy career. But I got to a point where I was tired of the nights, tired of the weekends, tired of the holidays, 2:00 in the morning floor sets or bra launches. It took a toll, essentially. It wasn't a great work-life balance. I knew I wanted something more. I wanted a career, not just a job. I remember watching the O.J. Simpson trial, and I remember just being so intrigued with his legal representation, the legal team that he had, the courtroom, the theatrics of the entire trial, down to if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit moment. I just was intrigued by that whole entire process. And so that directed me to Kaplan University at the time, which is now Purdue University Global. Mm-hmm. That's where I began my formal education to become a paralegal. And that was back in 2003 when I entered into college. I got my formal education, which actually helped me get a job in the legal world. So I was coming out of retail management. I was managing this huge business, essentially. My skills weren't necessarily transferring over well. They weren't, even though I was like doing HR and I was counseling and hiring and firing and managing their budget, the skills weren't really transferring over well. And so when I enrolled in college and became a student, that actually helped push me into a paralegal assistant role early on in my career. I started out on the plaintiff side. So I was working in plaintiff personal injury and working for plaintiff attorneys, sole practitioner attorneys, and did that for about 7-8 years. And then I kind of went to sit on the other side of the courtroom. I went to the other table and went to work for defense attorneys. I started working insurance and defense litigation. I've really obtained this well-rounded, diverse education as well as professional experience, which has built the foundation of my consulting business today, Miss Camay International.
Amazing career, but this goes to show that you start somewhere and you have that leadership in you, and then you transfer in something, and one show, one court case can turn your life upside down in a way, push it in a different direction. I like that story. When you're passionate enough, you can get to where you want to be and you can even add more. Let's talk a little bit about the fun side that we can see on your LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
Crowned Miss World Plus Intercontinental Royal Ambassador, a founding boss lady. We spoke about that. Rock fashion runway with my king around the country. What else? Tell us more. This is the fun part.
Yeah. Back in 2013, I was actually shopping for my birthday and I was approached by a pageant director. This is up in Washington State. And this young lady, she had competed in plus size pageantry, and she had established a pageant in Washington state, and she was recruiting delegates to compete for a state title. At first, Suzanne, I was like, yeah, do you have a pamphlet? Or because as a paralegal, I was going to do my research on this whole pageant, whatever it was she was talking about. So she gave me this pamphlet and she's like, you're gorgeous. You would be great to compete for a state title. To be honest with you, Suzanne, I have no idea what I was really getting myself into. I thought I went home, had my birthday, got through that, and then started my research on her and the organization. And I was like, well, I can get up on a stage and put on a dress and present myself. I've always been very confident, regardless of my size or the number on the scale. And so I felt that I could be the imagery, being a real woman with a real body and loving myself and loving my body. So that's really where it all began, with that concept. And it developed into, here we are, present day. I've competed for state titles, national title. My first national title was held with the American Beauties Plus pageant system. I was crowned a lifetime queen from that pageant system because of my work and my advocacy within that pageant system. I was awarded the Presidential Service Award by President Barack Obama in 2014 for my community service. I also went on to compete for an international title with the Miss Plus World organization. So that is an ambassador title that I currently carry. And let me share this with you, Suzanne, kind of backing up a little bit when I had said I really didn't know what I was signing up for, right? At all. I never wore dresses back then. Wearing dresses, I never wore dresses. So that was that was challenging to get in a gown and get in dresses and like dresses. That
Transformation? A transformation in a way for you?
Yeah, essentially. That was like a big hurdle for me to get over in pageantry. My director was like, you need to wear a dress and a gown. I was like, well, aren't there really, there's sparkly pantsuits. It's an evening gown competition and you gotta wear an evening gown. And I'm like, okay.
You have to follow the rules. Talking about the legal system, right?
Well, it's a competition. What pageantry gave me, and I go back to this story many times when I'm asked, because pageantry gave me the physical experience of the power of my voice. Pageantry gave me the podium and the microphone to stand at. And it gave me essentially permission. And wearing the regalia, the crown, the sash, gets people's attention. You walk into a room with a crown and a sash on and a beautiful gown, and people instantly want to know who you are, what your story is, what you're about. The first voice that I had was about kidney disease because both of my parents passed away from kidney failure. And in pageantry, as a delegate, you have to choose a platform that is passionate to you. Found my voice essentially in honoring my mother, honoring my father in their life, talking about health, being a plus-size woman, a full-figured woman, sharing the message that it doesn't matter what size you wear, it doesn't matter what number is on that scale, it's about being healthy. We can be healthy at any size and at any shape. I've grown and evolved with that voice. As a registered document preparer now, I advocate for my community. I'm very passionate about educating my community, especially their rights under the law. I've developed a relentless pursuit in life, Suzanne. I developed a relentless refusal to accept no for an answer. Pageantry just gave that to me, essentially birthed that in me. It was just pivotal time in my life. I was actually coming out of homelessness when I started to compete in pageantry. So I was vulnerable, had essentially lost everything that I had worked so hard for at that time. But pageantry, like when you said I was having this transformation with the gowns, right? I had a complete transformation, becoming a delegate in pageantry, competing locally at the state level, at the national level. It really introduced my power to me back then. Then to elaborate, like you were talking about runways, right? With my king, with my husband. So I was single back then, Suzanne. I was single. I wasn't married. while pageantry was fun, and I've built relationships with women within the pageant systems over the years, I was pushed into plus size modeling. And pageantry competition, being a pageant delegate or a title holder in pageantry and being a model are two completely different stage performances, modeling and pageantry. That's where the fun began because there was no competition. You were a human hanger essentially on a runway. And so several of my pageant sisters and I kind of hit the runway as title holders. And I mean, I've been on runways from Seattle all the way to New York and states in between over the years, and just really was able to show my personality, my sass, my confidence. Being short, I'm not your ideal model. In the modeling industry, I'm considered very short and petite, but you get me on that runway, Suzanne, and I'm a giant. I'm a giant. I'm 10 feet tall.
I see
10
that.
feet tall.
And in a way, when I'm listening to you, so that pageantry sounds like it's easy, but I know when you look behind the curtains, it's again, first of all, you have to wear a gown. This is a huge transition. It's about the competition. So it's not just like you show up and you win. So there's other people. That's where your boss lady comes in. That's when you can learn. And you also shared the homelessness, huge from not being seen to becoming the person who everybody wants to be around and everybody wants to see. Amazing.
Right.
Congratulations for that. It seems
Thank
like
you.
a butterfly just sprang out of the cocoon. It's time to flourish now.
Yes, yes. I learned through pageantry, the real, raw, authentic is what people want. They can relate to it. They can identify with it. It makes being a public figure, when you become a title holder in pageantry, you are instantly on the front page of everything. You're the face of the pageant system and open for ridicule and condemnation, essentially. It's when I could be honest about being bullied in the workplace. When I could be real standing at that podium in front of that microphone, that's what people want. And that's what they need. People need to know that they're not out here alone, that they're not experiencing life that no one else can relate to or that has gone through themselves. It just, pageantry, and I'll share this with you, Suzanne, it did not come without ridicule.
I'm
It
sure.
It did not come without some haterade being assumed in these pageant systems, right? Especially when you win.
Sure.
Something that developed also competing in pageantry and winning state titles, national titles, and experiencing some retribution regarding that. I set out to bring women together as a human female race. I grew up as a young woman with not a lot of female friends. I grew up picking the wrong female friends. So I believe that we have more commonalities than we do differences, whether it's personal, political, environmental, whatever those may be. For us to come together as women, the power that we could collectively have as a group of women, instead of, one title holder in pageantry, we have 5 title holders because we have a winner in every division, right? In your teen and your miss and your miss. There is enough room at the top. This crab bucket mentality where I don't want you to do better than me, or women fighting over men, just so many things that we as women, find conflict with each other. I really wanted to be an example of doing better. I wanted to be the example of bringing women together to focus on our commonalities, to make us powerful in a world and in a society that has been telling us for centuries we aren't deserving and that we don't have that power, because we do. We absolutely do. And we have more than all these men out here, in my opinion. More than all these men.
I agree with you. Yeah. And thank you so much for doing the work for many, being a role model for many, because it takes a lot of courage to be on the stage. It's not for everybody. How do you rejuvenate your batteries to be 100%, 120% every single day?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is a great question. Well, I will tell you first and foremost, self-care. I start my mornings early. My husband and I are up about 4:00 in the morning every day, even on the weekends. We get up and we get at it. I'm in the gym days a week. So 3 days a week, I go to my body pump class and I'm the cheerleader in class. I'm up in the front, like cheering everybody on, working out, eating healthy. Eating healthy. My husband is a phenomenal chef. He prepares our food for us. I do make us breakfast.
It's important breakfast.
I focus on my health. I'm not afraid to go to the doctor, addressing whatever it is, to live as long as we possibly can.
So thank you so much, Ms. Camay. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Suzanne.
What are you taking away from this impressive and phenomenal conversation? What are your questions for Ms. Camay? I have many. Take it from the Ironwoman. We have episodes every Monday, more than 500 episodes so far. And Take It From the Ironwoman is also the book Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Download it or get it in your local bookstore and support us and like and subscribe to this podcast on the platform you're listening to this podcast now. And we'll see you next time.